All right, welcome to Matthew 13. Let's get into it. The parable of the sower. That same day, Jesus went out to the house and sat beside the sea, and the great crowds gathered round him. So he got into a boat and sat down, and the whole crowd stood on the beach. And he told them many things in parables, saying, A sower went out to sow, and as he sowed, some seeds fell along the path. The birds came and devoured them. Other seeds fell on rocky ground, where they did not have much soil and immediately sprang up, since they had no depth of soil. But when the sun rose, they were scorched, and since they had no root, they were withered away. Other seeds fell among the thorns, and the thorns grew up and choked them. Other seeds fell on soil and produced grain. Some seeds fell on good soil and produced grain, and some 100-fold, some 60, and some 30. He who has ears, let him hear. Purpose of the parables. So, people are the seeds, pretty much. Some land on good soil, some land on bad. The purpose of the parables. Then the disciples came and said to him, Why do you speak to them in parables? And he answered, To you it has been given to know the secrets of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it has not been given. For to the one who has more will be given, and he will have an abundance. But from the one who has not, even what he has will be taken away. This is why I speak to them in parables, because seeing they do not see, and hearing they do not hear, nor do they understand. Indeed, in their case, the prophecy of Isaiah is fulfilled that says, You will indeed hear, but never understand. You will indeed see, but never perceive. For the people's heart has grown dull. With their ears they can barely hear, in their eyes they have closed, lest they should see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and understand with their heart, in turn I will heal them. But blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears they hear. For truly I say to you, many prophets and righteous people long to see what you see, and do not see it, and to hear what you hear and do not hear. All right. I take this as people are listening, or sorry, they're hearing but not listening. They're not really thinking about it, and that's how it could be because they're more literal and at the time, and they can't really understand metaphor. Parable of the sower explained. Hear then the parable of the sower. When anyone hears the word of the kingdom and does not understand it, the evil one comes and snatches away what has been sown in their heart. This is what's sown along the path. As for what has sown on rocky ground, this is the one who hears the word and immediately receives it with joy. He has no root in himself, but endures for a while. And when tribulation or persecution arises on account of the word, immediately he falls away. As for what was sown among the thorns, this is the one who hears the word, but the cares of the world and the deceitfulness of the riches choke the word, and it proves unfruitful. As for what has sown on good soil, this is the one who hears the word and understands it, and he indeed bears fruit and yields. In one case 100, and in another 60, and another 30. The seeds on the rock are people who hear it immediately, but have nothing to root it in. Seeds that are choked by thorns and stuff are someone who is destroyed by the world and the deceitfulness. The good seed is someone who understands it and has good fruit. The parable of the weeds. He put another parable before them, saying, The kingdom of heaven may be compared to a man who sowed good seed in his field. But while his men were sleeping, his enemy came and sowed weeds among the wheat and went away. So the plants came up and bore grain, and then the weeds also appeared. And the servants of the master of the house came and said to him, Master, did you not sow good seed in your field? How then does it have weeds? He said to them, An enemy has done this. Go to the servant. Oh my gosh. So the servant said to him, Then do you want to go to us? Then do you want us to go and gather them? But he said, No, lest in gathering the weeds you grow up and weed along them with them. Let both grow together until the harvest. In the harvest time I will tell the reapers, Gather the weeds first and bind them in bundles to be burned, but gather the wheat into my barn. So, the enemy is Satan. He also sows seeds, but they're actually weeds, to destroy others. And the master says when both are finished growing, then they will be separated, pretty much. So this is symbolic of the judgment, and this will be explained later, but that's the judgment. Once they're done growing, which is pretty much when the time to come, then they will be separated. Boom. And the weeds will be burned, pretty much, put into hell. The mustard seed and the leaven. He put another parable before them, saying, The kingdom of heaven is like a grain of mustard seed that a man took and sowed in his field. It was the smallest of all the seeds, but when it has grown into larger than all the garden plants and becomes a tree, so that the birds of the air come and make nests in the branches. He told them another parable. The kingdom of heaven is like leaven that a woman took and hid in 3 measures of flour till it was all leavened. So, just to say, leaven is pretty much yeast. So what it's saying is heaven is something small that grows large, because yeast makes things expand, and the seed turns into a tree. The tiniest seed. They're real small mustard seeds. Prophecy and parables. All these things Jesus said to the crowds in parables. Indeed, he said nothing to them without a parable. This was to fulfill what was spoken by the prophet. I will open my mouth in parables. I will utter what has been hidden since the foundation of the world. The parable of the weeds explained. Then he left the crowds and went into the house. And his disciples came to him, saying, Explain to us the parable of the weeds of the field. And he answered, The one who sows the good seed is the Son of Man. The field is the world, and the good seed is the sons of the kingdom. The weeds are the sons of the evil one, and the enemy who has sowed them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the age, and the reapers are angels. Just as the weeds are gathered and burned with fire, so will it be at the end of the age. The reapers and angels, just as the weeds are gathered and burned with fire, so will it be at the end of the age. The Son of Man will send his angels, and they will gather out at his kingdom all the causes of sin and all lawbreakers, and throw them into a fiery furnace. And in that place there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Then the righteous will shine like the sun in the kingdom of the Father. Who has ears, let him hear. The parable of the hidden treasure. The kingdom of heaven is like a treasure hidden in a field, with a man found and covered it up. This is then in his joy he goes and sells all that he has and buys that field. The parable of the pearl of the great value. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a merchant in a search of fine pearls, who, on finding one pearl of a great value, went and sold all that he had and bought it. Parable of the net. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a net that is thrown into the sea and gathered fish of every kind. When it was full, men drew it ashore and sat down and sorted the good into the containers, but threw away the bad. So it would be at the end of the age. The angels would come out and separate the evil from the righteous and throw them into the fiery furnace. In that place there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. New and old treasures. Have you understood all these things? They said to him, Yes. And he said to them, Therefore every scribe who is trained for the kingdom of heaven is like a master of the house, who brings out his treasure, what is new and what is old. So all these 3 parables, they're all pretty much explaining the kingdom of heaven is a small portion of a whole. That's what I see it as, for the hidden treasures in it. It's the small portion of the whole that is worth a lot. Like the man, he finds a treasure hidden in a field, and he sells all that he has to buy that field. And then the pearls, there's a merchant in search of fine pearls who's finding one pearl in great value. And he went on and sold all that he had just to buy the one pearl. So, one thing that's a small part, because the man's in search of fine pearls, multiple, and the man buys a field. It's one small part of the whole that's worth a lot. So they sell everything they have and get it. That's how I see it. Jesus rejected at Nazareth. And then when Jesus had finished these parables, he went on from there, and coming to his hometown, he taught in their synagogues, so that they were astonished and said, Where did this man get this wisdom and his mighty works? Is it not the carpenter's son? Is his mother called Mary? And not his brothers James and Joseph and Simon and Judas? And not all his sisters with us? Where then did the man get all of these things? And they took offense at him. But Jesus said, A prophet is not without honor, except in his hometown and in his own household. And he did not do many mighty works there, because of their unbelief. So, he taught in the synagogues, and he ended up, they're offended that he got all this wisdom, because they knew him. And then he ends up calling himself a prophet, and they took offense, but Jesus said to him, "A prophet is not without honor except in his hometown." So he's like a prophet. And he did not do mighty works there because of their unbelief. Also, just a note, his brother was named Judas, but that was not Judas Iscariot. Just remember that. That is not Judas Iscariot. Alright, that's the end of the video. Thank you all for watching. I've been sick for a bit, but subscribe, and remember I have a Discord server. Goodbye.